All right, so picture this. You're in Dubai. The ICC Champions Trophy final is about to start.
Yeah.
And it's India versus New Zealand. Huge match.
Absolutely.
You know, you sent us this news article all about Indian Vice Captain Shubman Gill's pre-match press conference.
Yeah.
So let's just dive into what he's saying, break down India's chances, and, see why this final is such a big deal.
I think Gill's comments are super interesting, especially, right before a final like this.
Right.
There's so much pressure, and reading between the lines, I think, gives us a lot of insight into the team's mindset.
Yeah, he sounds really confident, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Saying India's fully prepared to win. They're coming off that World Cup final loss.
Right.
But he actually says this time the team is fully prepared to win the one-day tournament.
Wow.
It almost sounds like he's guaranteeing a win.
It's definitely more than just confidence, though.
Okay.
He talks about the team's improvement in handling pressure and the fantastic team environment they've built. Things like they've learned a lot from the World Cup and have a plan for these high-pressure situations.
That's interesting because he does say that, there is pressure.
Uh-huh.
But how do these guys cope with that on such a global stage?
Yeah.
It's not just a game. It's like the weight of a nation on their shoulders.
It's true. Experience is a huge factor, I think.
Okay.
Players like Kohli and Sharma have been in countless high-pressure situations.
Yeah.
And they've definitely developed strategies over time.
Like what?
Could be visualization, breathing techniques, even pre-match rituals.
Oh, interesting.
Think of it like a well-rehearsed performance.
Yeah.
They've practiced for this moment.
Right.
For years.
Okay, that makes sense. But cricket's not just about mental toughness, right?
Absolutely not.
It's about being able to adapt on the fly.
You got it.
Gill mentions that too, right?
He does. He specifically talks about adapting to Australia's bowling attack in the semi-final.
Yeah.
Adaptability is key in cricket. You got to adjust your batting or bowling depending on who you're playing against.
Right.
The pitch, the weather even.
Right.
That's how you win.
So give me an example. How did they adapt in the semifinal?
Well, in the semifinal, the Indian bowlers completely shifted their strategy mid-game.
Wow.
Totally changed the course of the match. You can't be rigid. You need to be ready to adjust your game plan.
Interesting. Okay, so then Gill says that India has the strongest batting lineup in the world.
Bold statement.
It is a bold statement, is he right?
I mean, it is a bold statement, but he might be right.
Okay.
You look at Kohli, Sharma, Gill himself.
Yeah.
They're all top batsmen at the top of their game right now.
Yeah.
And their experience is a huge advantage. They know how to build an innings, how to pace themselves, how to handle different types of bowling.
So this is something I find really interesting. This final could be the last ODI for Kohli and Sharma.
Oh, wow.
What a way to end their careers if they decide to retire after this.
Yeah, it would be a dramatic finish. It's true. There's a lot of talk about them retiring, especially with the next World Cup so far off in 2027.
Yeah.
How they perform in this final could really affect their decision.
Right.
Imagine the storylines. They're like a triumphant farewell.
Yeah.
Or a heartbreaking loss in their last match.
Wow. So India has been on fire this whole tournament. They haven't lost a single match.
It's incredible.
And that includes a win against New Zealand earlier on.
Yep.
What's the secret to their success?
Consistency. Their batting, their bowling, and their fielding have all been top-notch.
Yeah.
Plus, they've played all their matches in Dubai, so they're used to the conditions. They know how the pitch plays, how the weather affects the game. It's almost like a home field advantage.
Speaking of the pitch, Gill highlights India's world-class spin attack
Oh, yeah.
and how effective it's been so far. Specifically mentioning Varun Chakravarti's performance against New Zealand.
He's been fantastic.
Why is spin bowling such a big deal?
Well, spin bowling is all about deception. You see spin bowlers, they use the pitch to their advantage.
Okay.
They can get the ball to turn and bounce in ways you just don't expect.
Ah.
And a dry pitch, like the one in Dubai, is perfect for spinners.
Oh, really?
The ball grips the surface and creates more spin. It's really a subtle art.
Yeah.
But on the right pitch, it can be deadly.
So we have India, a team full of confidence, a possible farewell for two legends,
Wow.
and a spin attack that could dominate on this Dubai pitch. Are they the clear favorites to win?
They've got a lot going for them, for sure. But it's never that simple in cricket.
Okay.
Let's not forget about New Zealand.
Right.
They might not have the same star power,
Yeah.
but they're a team known for their resilience.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit more.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
New Zealand, they're known for their fighting spirit. They might not have the same, individual star power as India,
Right.
but they've got this strong collective identity, and they just have this knack for exceeding expectations.
Yeah, you're right. It feels like they always punch above their weight.
Yeah.
I still remember their semifinal win against Pakistan. It was thrilling.
It was.
So what makes them so dangerous?
Their captain, Kane Williamson, he's brilliant.
Okay.
Calm under pressure, reads the game like a chess grandmaster, always thinking a few steps ahead.
So is this like a battle of styles then? India's raw power versus New Zealand's strategic brilliance?
It's a classic contrast of cricketing philosophies for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, India might come out swinging, looking for early dominance, using their batting lineup to set a huge target.
Yeah.
New Zealand, on the other hand, they might focus on containing India, taking their time building partnerships and waiting to exploit any weaknesses in the bowling.
So it's like a high-stakes game of mental chess.
Exactly.
Each team trying to outmaneuver the other.
That's what makes a final so compelling.
Yeah.
The pressure is immense. Even a small mistake can be the difference between winning and losing. Every run, every wicket, every decision matters so much.
Let's talk about those Dubai pitches again. How much of an impact do you think they'll have on the final?
The Dubai pitch is known for being a bit slower, which usually favors spin bowling.
Right, and we talked about India having that world-class spin attack, especially Varun Chakravarti.
Right, he's been incredible, almost unplayable at times.
So does that mean India has a clear advantage?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
The pitch might favor spinners, but New Zealand's batsmen are no strangers to playing spin. They've already played a few matches in Dubai.
Right.
So they'll have a good understanding of how the pitch behaves. They might even have some specific strategies to counter India's spin attack.
So the pitch is a factor, but not a guaranteed advantage for either side. What else should we be watching for as the match unfolds? What are some key things that could decide the winner?
For India, taking early wickets is going to be crucial.
Okay.
If they can put pressure on New Zealand's batting lineup early on, that will go a long way in securing a win.
What about New Zealand? What's their key to success?
New Zealand, they need to focus on building partnerships and rotating the strike to keep the scoreboard ticking.
Okay.
It's about patience, discipline, and not letting the pressure get to them.
Okay, so both teams have clear paths to victory, but it's not going to be easy for either side.
Nope. It's going to come down to execution, adaptability, and maybe a little bit of luck.
This has been great. We've covered India's strength, New Zealand's fighting spirit, the mental game, and even those tricky Dubai pitches. As we wrap up our deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listener to keep in mind as they watch the final? We've, analyzed the teams, the players, the strategies, and even the pitch. But the big question is who's going to win?
Yeah, it's tough to call.
India seems like the favorite on paper.
They do seem like the favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been dominant. They have that home ground advantage in Dubai, and their batting lineup is incredible, truly world class.
So you're leaning towards India then?
I mean, yeah, but hold on. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
New Zealand has this uncanny ability to defy expectations. They thrive under pressure, and they have the strategic smarts to disrupt even the strongest opponents.
So you're saying even though India might have the better team on paper, New Zealand could outsmart them?
Exactly. Think of it like this: India might have the bigger pieces on the chessboard, but New Zealand could be the more cunning player.
Oh, I see.
They might focus on disrupting India's rhythm, forcing them into mistakes. Never underestimate the power of a well-executed strategy.
And we can't forget about the emotional factor, too. If this is Kohli and Sharma's last ODI, they'll be playing with a whole other level of intensity.
Yeah, for sure. Wanting to go out on top.
Right.
That's a great point. Their potential farewell could energize the whole team. Imagine the determination to win it for their departing heroes.
Yeah.
It could be that extra push that India needs.
So we have India, a team with a ton of momentum, possibly fueled by the emotion of a farewell. And we have New Zealand, the underdogs, ready to disrupt and defy expectations. This is going to be an incredible final.
It really is. And you know what makes it even more exciting? We have no idea how it's going to play out.
Right.
We can analyze all we want, but that's the beauty of sport. It's unpredictable.
Totally. And that's what we want for our listener. We don't want them to just watch this final. We want them to feel like they're a part of it.
Right. They've taken this deep dive with us, explored the nuances of the game, and now they're equipped to appreciate the final on a whole new level.
All right, listener, here's the deal. Grab your snacks, get comfortable, and get ready for a cricketing spectacle you won't forget. And as you watch it, remember everything we've talked about today, the strategies, the players, the pressure, the emotion, because you're not just watching a game. You're watching history being made.
Who knows? You might even see something we missed. That's the beauty of this sport. It's full of surprises. Enjoy the final.